Good Monday evening, YouTube. How's it going, people? So, week 27 numbers. The numbers all y'all are waiting on a week now. So, I went home Friday. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, partially day Friday. Got home about 5 p.m. and pulled a 40 some odd hour reset. I left out today, this morning, picked up in Savannah and ran to Salisbury Steak, North Carolina. Go away. That's distracting. And now, if you count, let me start by saying, if you count the miles that I drove before I came here, my week is actually sitting at $1.57 a mile, which is not bad for me slacking, right? So, because I wasn't really trying that hard. I had let me tell you the numbers and I'll tell you what I did. All right, my numbers are 26, 12, 38. No, I'm sorry, 26, 37, 38. As long as I get my trailer moved that they owe me. At $1.45 a mile on, it was on 1,818 miles. That's lower than my normal miles, and so on and so on. So I would have made more if I stayed up Midwest, but like I said, I'm trying to clear everything up and stay close to home. And staying close to home makes me lazy and makes me want to come home and go to church on Sunday, which is a whole nother bag. So profit, it's actually been doing really good. My average daily revenue was like how was it so low the other day? $366 a day, and I drove an additional 141 miles today that actually count for tomorrow's load, because when I left out of the house Monday, let me tell you what I've done so far. So my fixed is now $291.66, and like I said, there's other stuff in there that I haven't finished computing, I'm sure, so there's going to be a little bit more in there. So, but my fixed expenses were only about 16 cents a mile since I don't have a huge truck payment no more. And my variables were like 44 cents a mile. I only got 3 tanks of fuel, and I only used, that's not right either, is it? Man, I don't know what I'm doing, people. Okay, I know I got 2. I think I missed a Schneider card fill up there because I only used my other one once. So that should actually be $2, not $1 for the Schneider cards. Fuel was $501.46 for about 28 cents a mile, which is actually kind of high, and I'm not sure why. I think I skipped out last week, but last week was a high number as well. I don't remember. But then again, trying to get home, running crazy numbers. I did one scale because even though I have my right way in here, I was kind of leery on it because he said it was, the guy who loaded me, it was a load of bleach, and he said it was like 42,000 pounds, and the math I did, and it was showing 31 on my right way, and I'm like, I know this is right, so I'm gonna be super heavy on the rear. If this is 31, that means I got about 16 on the front, and the rest of that 42 is on the rear, which means I got 26 riding on the rear, which makes it 35. It didn't ride like it was heavy in the back. So I went ahead and rolled, and took me an hour before I got close to a cat scale. I mean, I could have scaled it right there in Mount Airy, and I could have scaled it right there and used that crappy pilot scale that's not a cat scale. I hate that store. That store sucks. But I didn't. I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and roll because I don't remember why I decided I was going to go ahead and roll. But I was like, I'll go ahead and go an hour down the road and go to a actually legit cat scale, and that's on my path, not something I have to go out of the way for. And it was like 73,000 total. So I had 31 on the front and 29 or something, 39, 31, 29, 31, 41, 42, 43. It was 31 and 30. That's what it was, because I was right at just under 12 on my steers. So the guy apparently, well, you know, if it's a machine that's filling up liquid into a container, some of those, I don't know if they're using older ones or what, but either that or the Chinese or whoever it is that filled those bleach containers up is ripping off that company by not filling it up as full as they say they are. Excuse me. So anyway, but my expenses were super low, so you know and I only ran 5 days, so my expenses were like $161 a day. I can't beat that, right? And with 15 cents a mile on the maintenance, that puts me at $270 for expenses per day. Yeah, that's right. Last week was so high because I bought the laptop and so on. So yeah, last week. That's why last week was so low for me. I did sell my motorcycle. I sold that Goldwing. I got the 500 I was asking for out of it. I put 600 down there and kind of like trying to get trips out of there. So, but yeah, 5 days. That's not too bad, I guess. 2637 out of 5 days. That's a little over 500 a day. It's $526 and some change. 526 or 527. 526 is 2630. 527 is 2635. 527. You do the math, okay? I'm not in the mood for doing math right now. Anyway, so that puts me at, it's the first of the month, so I can't really do anything on the first of the month part. I'm sitting on $1.45 right now. Last month was $1.55. The month before was $1.62, and so on. Quarterly now, because I didn't try as hard in the second quarter, I got a loss on that quarter. I'm down to $1.53 on second quarter for the year. Third quarter it just started, like I said, so we can't judge that one. Fixed expenses went down second quarter. They're about $4,700 less due to the truck purchase and taking off and other things. And variables went down as well last quarter. So my overall was I took a loss both sides. I mean, I took a loss on profit and I took a loss on expenses. Well, I took a gain on expenses. So you can say it balances out, but it doesn't. I mean, I think I said that last week that it balances out. To me, it doesn't really balance out because I'm actually losing money right now because I'm trying to do things. And I told y'all what I was doing. So if you didn't catch that video, watch my last video. You should know what I'm doing if you really want to know what's going to be going on. And I said I was going to drop a video on IFTA. I still haven't done that. I'm sorry. I've been slacking. I actually made the video, and because this thing makes so much noise when the APU is running and I have my fan on full blast, it didn't turn out well at all. And then the way I made it, I actually ended up cutting my video off somehow while I was running my mouth. So I wasn't happy about that either, and I said, just forget it. I'll make it later, and we'll figure that out later on. So, but hey, you know what? For the first two quarters, if you take out, what was that, 2637? So if you take out the 2637, I'm still pushing like 160 for the year. If I just screw off, right? So if I just do 80, because I'm right at 80 for the first two quarters. I'm at 79.8 or something like that. And the profit is it's not where I want it to be. But the profit per mile is right now sitting at 76. It jumped way up because of the truck thing. I was doing come on back. fool. It's actually where it was. I mean, I was doing 79 first quarter and 69 second quarter, but for annual, it's actually right back at 79. So that's going to go up. No, I'm sorry, it says 76. So I'm 3 cents less than what I was in the first quarter overall for the whole year. But that's going to increase. I'm presume that it's going to be like 80, 90 cents a mile. So it might be more than that with, hopefully everything works out. I mean, if everything doesn't work out, it'll at least break even for me. I also have a video, so I'm going to do the IFTA video. I have another video that I'm going to drop that is about fixing, if you have a mirror on your truck that isn't working, like you got one side that is working, one side that ain't. I actually tore apart the little motherboard, the little the switch mechanism, and opened up the motherboard so you can see what it looks like, and cleaned it up, and I made a video on that. So, but you got to be real careful. I'll show y'all that one. I'll put that one on a different thing and label it. Yeah, so I'm trying to get my plates for this truck, right? Because of what I'm doing. In Georgia, you have to do like 20 different things, right? You got to have your driver's license. You got to have a copy. If you're not under your own authority, you have to have a copy of the lease, which is supposed to be signed, physically signed by the person who's in charge of the safety for the company you're with. And they're not going to take a little signature sheet that says, I approve the signatures on this e-signature lease. So if you're in Georgia and you work with Prime or anybody else that has that same thing that Schneider does with the e-sig, and there's not really a signature there, it's just got like a little S and a name and so on and so on, you got some work to do. Trust me, it ain't fun. So you got to have that. You got to have a T-138. You got to have a T-239. You got to have a title in Georgia. It's got to be a Georgia title. You cannot have a title from another state. All the directions are on the Georgia IRP website. If you look up Google Georgia IRP, and some of the other states have their own too, so I don't know if they're as easy to get to as Georgia is. Georgia was actually pretty easy to follow the directions, kind of. Pretty easy, kind of. There's like what else do you need? 239, 138. Oh, your incorporation in Georgia, your 2290. It's just a whole mess of things that has to be done in order for you to get your own plates. And getting your own plates, the advantage of getting your own plates, they're more expensive than Schneider, and they're probably more expensive than any other mega carrier. And I'm assuming that they use, a lot of these guys use Indiana because Indiana has some cheaper rates. I'm not sure. But the advantage to having your own plates is if you think you're going to leave, if you think you might get fired, if for any reason that you think you might move on later on, or say you're going to do it in a few months, go ahead and get them now. If you're not going to do it for a couple of years, just wait, because it'll be cheaper for you to wait until you're ready to do it. Otherwise, like if you think you might be a risk or something, or you think that they might be thinking about getting rid of you, or they might be canceling your contract for God knows what, go ahead and get them, because when you get canned, when your contract gets canceled, they get their plates back. They cancel your plates. And if you don't have plates, you can't just go driving around anywhere you want. You have to physically go and contact whomever. And I recommend going through J.J. Keller because they did everything for me, so I wouldn't have to hunt. But I went through, when I moved this truck to Schneider facility to get it put on, to get the signs put on and the signage and everything and put on here. I had to go through, I mean, I could have done some research and taken forever and figured out what I got to do, but just call JJ Keller and you got to get a day permit, and it actually is it'll be anywhere from a 3 to 7 day permit for IFTA taxes and for what was the other one? A pass, some kind of day pass, where you have to drive that. You'll be able to drive that truck through whatever states you got to drive it through to get it to where it's got to get to for you to do what you need to do. But like say you live in Georgia and you get canned in Alabama, right? But you're going to open your own authority, so you still have to, if you don't have your plates, you still have to get that day pass or whatever you want to call it to get your truck back from, and that'll only be 2 states, right? Because Alabama's right there at the edge of Georgia, right? So you have to go from Alabama to Georgia, but you still got to get the day pass because you were canned, unless you get lucky and you don't get caught. And get your butt back. But Schneider, I don't know how the other guys do it, but they'll usually give you a 2-week notice saying you have 2 weeks to get your stuff, get your truck where it's got to go, get another contract with another company or whatever you're going to do with that truck, and send us our equipment back. And make sure when you send equipment back, you got receipts for everything, signatory notes saying that you sent the crap back, and this, that, and the other. We had a guy the other day that posted on Facebook that said they were hassling him because they said that he didn't bring his stuff back, and he actually had the signed letter saying he did. Everybody told him, said, just send them that letter and they'll actually not bother you anymore because you have a letter saying that you sent everything back. You got to send back the best pass, pre-pass, whatever, the easy pass, and all that other junk, supposedly. I don't know what all you got to send back. I'll be finding that out soon enough. What else? What else is there? But yeah, I've been going round and round with Georgia, and they're like, send us this, send us that, send us this, send us that. They said, we need a signed copy of the lease and whatever the other 2 items were. So I sent them that, and like, this ain't gonna work because it's not signed. It has to be signed with a signature. All right, fine. So I got a sheet from the lady that does something up there, and she sent me that has the guy's signature on a sheet of paper saying he authorizes this e-signature, and that wasn't good enough. So I finally sent these guys an email saying, what are you looking for? What do you want from me? They said, we need the VIN sheet, we need the signature, we need the first page of the lease, something like that. It's actually in fine print at the bottom of the instructions. I think that's what I read. So I sent them that, and then they said, well, you got the wrong number on this. And I got that back today. So now I sent them another thing, and hopefully tomorrow I'll know. So I'm getting this load unloaded tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to grab another load. And then my fool self booked a load that's got a 3-hour live load on Wednesday, dropping Thursday. But I got a grand lined up, what was it? That's a grand. That ain't right. I don't know. I got a decent set of trips lined up, so it should be a halfway decent week. But yeah, so last week, that's what I was going to talk about. Last week, on Thursday, I was running 205 a mile until I decided to take the load coming home, which was really low, which ended up putting me at $180 a mile or something like that. And then with this one here that I took, it dropped me down to the $157. So, but you got to remember, it's your day rate you need to look for, not your mileage rate. I mean, it does help to take over a certain amount, and I was doing real good there until I decided to go home. There are trips in Georgia and wherever else I ran. I didn't go that far. and I bounced right back around in a circle back to Georgia. The problem is, it seems like the problem is getting back to Georgia. It's kind of like going from Pennsylvania to Ohio. You can't find Jack, and when you do, it goes like hotcakes. So, I mean, I had a load. I was looking at a load that was going up. It was going to Jacksonville, right? I guess I didn't really want to go there because Jacksonville and Valdosta, if you're in Georgia, are a beast to get out of. They've actually been a little better lately, but they're still a pain. So I was looking at a load to Jacksonville that paid really well. And I jumped off the lawnmower after cutting the grass, and I opened up the shed door, and my phone dinged at me, and I opened that thing up, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I hit that button, and it opened up the list, and I went into it. It was still there. I went into it, and it said shipment assigned. So that quick, that assign button was gone. But you know, the good ones, there's like 2 or 3, and you wait on them and you wait on them, and then they magically appear, and then they're magically gone. And they're not magically delicious because, you know, they're gone. Anyway, so I think that's all. I've been staying close to home because I'm trying to clear all this stuff up. Like I said, I'm ready to get going, man. I'm ready to roll. So we're gonna book a load going to Michigan. When all this gets ready to go, we're gonna make the call, and then I'm gonna wait a day because it takes like 3 days to get the ELD stuff in. Then I'm gonna book a load to Michigan area or Ohio or whatever to get me close to there, and then maybe another one up to there, and drop the trailer and gone. And that's gonna be it. And then I'm gonna get set up there and box all this crap up that's in this truck, and send them their stuff back. And then I'll be rolling in the spot market. So that's gonna be fun. I presume, you know, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, I'm probably gonna put a year review on there. I don't know. I might put a year review on there on my lease and everything else that's gone on with Schneider. So, but I got no complaints. They're a good company. What else do I have? I got to get a new inverter. My inverter is not powerful enough to run everything, you know. It's just, I thought my microwave was breaking, but I'm not sure because it worked kind of fine the other day when the APU was actually running. But you know, I don't know. Whatever. So that should be it. Yeah, that's all I got, people. So I'm gonna try and make a video real quick before I get too hot in here of the how to look for the best places to fuel up and so on. Sorry about the lighting. It's I got my shades up and this one was too bright. And the other one in front of me was making me look like actually that one ain't too bad now. It was bad earlier. I guess it's got my phone at. So yeah. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day.